Yo, yo, yo. Let's see where we left off. So we're working on some monster logic, trying to, or starting to incorporate different attributes so we can do some cool goal-oriented shit for our animate entities. But we have to go through how these different modules are instantiated and stuff like that. So previously we did it the old school way, just define a prefab, add some mono behavior, set it up, save it. But these creatures are generated at runtime. The mesh, the material, everything. And I pretty much want as few prefabs and data files as possible associated with this blob, which means that I would like eventually for a full creature to only need, like, best case scenario would probably be if we could make it so we only need one of these procedural graph files, but I'm not so sure we will be able to do that. But as few files as possible. So instead of setting up the prefab and adding the different classes there, I want to do something like this, I think. That, of course, comes with a few roadblocks. I think the first one was rendering abstract classes and stuff like that, but I think we can get around that eventually. So let's see here. Currently our blob has capsule collider, rigid body, soft body handler, body definition, animator, just because animate entity needs it. We have an animate entity here, which I actually think is added through this one. I want to make sure. Add animate entity editor node. Entity runtime node. And yes, here we add it. We also output animate entity. Yeah, that's probably what we want. Add animate entity editor node. Okay. So we add an animate entity here. I think I probably want to skip this creature class. What do we use the definition for? Here we get animate entity, and then we add agent. I want to do that. I think I want to add agent in the graph as well. Attribute handler, attribute function. Okay, beautiful. I think we are gonna, yeah, we're pretty much gonna build the full prefab in the actual graph. And I think I want to do it like this. I finally want to get rid of this creature class. It's a little bit redundant. So basically we're going to replace it with animate entity. Entity awake. What do we do on start? We get the colliders in start though. Okay. Dynamic entity. We get the rigid body. Awake is okay though. Okay, we don't have a start, that's good. Animate entity awake. And what do we do in start? Action handler instantiate. Yeah. We're gonna skip that as well. So these changes means that we're gonna have to do some minor changes for our playable character, but that's okay. It's gonna be cleaner. So I would probably want to we're gonna have to go through our exporter as well, I think, because the first thing we do here is when we to get the end node, we get game object to creature editor node. I'm wondering if we want to introduce a different end node. Can we add a note here? Sticky note, beautiful. Because what I want to do is because what I want to do is game object to animate entity. That's what we're gonna add first. Can't I change line here? Yeah, that's a little bit sad. Okay, let's write it like this. So we want it to go something like this. Game object to animate entity. Then we want add action handler. You know what? Yeah, I think so. Okay, I want to see if we can make it work like this, because I would like... Depends on how we parse it though. I think it should work. Because when we add an action handler, I would like to have, much like we have it like here, because to that action handler later on, we would like to add actions. Or we're gonna do it with... No, okay, we're gonna skip this because we wanna... I'm gonna add actions to animate entity directly, I think. So we're gonna have add action handler, and then we're gonna have add action star. So we're pretty much gonna have a node flow of where we slowly but surely build up the animate entity in questions. We add an action handler, and then we add all the actions. And then, like here, we specify exactly what properties the actions should have, and so on. I think it's gonna look nice. And then we do... add attribute handler, add attribute, somewhere around here. I think we're gonna have it here. Yo, what's up, Derek? Hope you had a wonderful weekend, man. And we're gonna have add body definition. So it's gonna be a long horizontal flow here where we slowly but surely build up the component. And the good thing with this, or what I want with this, is when we add an action here, I want to be able to use these visual properties we have generated previously. I want to be able to use them as input here. So for instance, some of our creatures will be able to carry stuff, and then I want to define a carry point by the output of the hand generation, for instance. And then we have add attributes here. I want to be able to like add weight attribute, and that weight attribute is going to come from some rigid body definition here maybe, and so on. Or we might actually define it here. We'll see as we go. Yo, what's up, Cooler SK? Hope you had a wonderful weekend as well. One of these days you're gonna come in here and the wasteland is actually getting populated. I promise you that. Okay, so let's change add animate entity editor node to game object to animate entity. But I do wonder what our new end nodes is gonna be. I think probably we're gonna continue with creature here as our end node, but as I said, we're gonna replace it eventually. Okay. I wonder if we're just gonna take... let's put generation up here, because it's not... Are you serious, Cooler SK? I'm sorry to hear. That fucking sucks, man. How serious is it? Yo, what's up, Skafer? That's a great speech. Is it setters? Converters. Sorry to hear, Cooler SK. Hopefully it wasn't too severe. And get on that exercise. Seriously. Exercise, sleep, and food. Never skimp on those three. Seriously. Exercise can be something peaceful as just taking a long walk, you know. Do it. Do it so you can see this wasteland become the beautiful park it's supposed to be, right? Yeah, get better, get better. Get better indeed. Is it functionality, repeat, editor node, agent? Here we go. Okay, we're gonna continue with it under agent. So let's rename this one. What did we have? Game object 2, add animate entity. Yeah, we're gonna call this one convert game object to animate entity runtime node. Convert game object to animate entity. Oh. Okay. Could be the longest class name yet. Convert game object to editor node. Okay, there we go. So the idea here is that we only return an animate entity from here. So when we get to this point in the graph, in the flow, we only work with animate entity. Convert. So add output. We don't want any of these. Animate entity. think we're just gonna go with internal name. Did I do it private? My bad. Honestly, like, getting healthy is extremely hard at first, but the longer you do it, the easier it gets. Just, I try to be real careful with like overreaching for myself, if you know what I mean. Just a nice walk. If I'm not feeling it. Okay, we're gonna have 2 output nodes here. And this is not gonna be action, it's gonna be animate entity. Go here. Animate entity. Game object, try and get the game object. If we get it, we add the animate entity. And here we can actually skip all of this. And do this. Yeah. Yo, what's up, Ice? For game development, would you recommend C++ or C#? Honestly, I would recommend not caring that much about the language you write it in, and instead the game engine, if you know what I mean. So when I started developing games for real, I didn't choose the language, I chose the game engine. I chose Unity. They use C#, so I accepted it. And C# is pretty damn nice, actually. C++ is also nice these days. Okay, I think this is it. As for animate entity, I want to see if it works. So we're gonna save this and see how it goes. Best answer I've ever heard, or I've heard. Appreciate it. And I wish you good luck. Developing games is extremely fun, but can also be quite hard. Time consuming as well. Game object to creature editor node, we're gonna change this one to... Let's see if our AI can do this. I want to change game object to creature. I want it to be convert animate entity to creature editor node. Change game object to creature node to convert animate entity to creature node. Both the runtime node and the editor node logic work with animate entity instead of game object. Skater, in the beginning of starting programming, it feels that a programming language is very important, but then after you become familiar with multiple, you stop caring this badly. Yeah, exactly. I agree. Like, in the beginning, every new language you jump into feels like such a big change, but then when you learn the fundamentals, changing a language isn't that big of a deal, except if you change between languages that are fundamentally different. So like when I tried functional programming with Haskell, coming from a Java background, it was a pretty big change. But you know, it's all logic in the end. It's possible. I think this... I mean, AI is pretty amazing, but I don't know. It's definitely gonna replace some jobs. But I have this tiny little hunch that some of the CEOs might exaggerate it a bit. It's almost like they are trying to sell something, you know. I think Take-Two's CEO, the Take-Two CEO, had a pretty good take on it. Whoa. Does it actually... If it changes the graph as well, that's fucking beautiful. Yes. Yo, what's up, Harukanan? I can never win. It's either I'm living in the Stone Age or I'm a full-on vibe coder. This is just time-consuming renaming and stuff. Hopefully it works. Scaper, I think all of them have AI psychosis, actually. Yeah, it's something in the water, definitely. Oh, this looks pretty good. Okay, that's depressing. Oops. Did it screw me up? Yeah, it's a tool. As long as I keep control and know what the hell it's doing, that is all good. Yeah, I thought I kept control, but we'll see. Duplicate scripter importer attribute. Yeah, where though? It feels like we have two of these now. Yeah, we do. Where is the second one though? Here is one. here we have two. Creature generation editor graph. Exporter. Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah, okay. I was a little bit too quick. So let's see here. Do we have an error? Get output port index. Yo, what's up, Ashore? Yo, 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 yo. Yeah, what the fuck? Watching the stream while playing Batman and Robin from 1997. Damn. Game object to creature. Yeah, okay, this one is the old one. We want this one we want to change to convert animate entity to creature editor node. Okay, that's that. And then I want a creature generation editor graph. Did I screw this up? Maybe. Why isn't it finding my... Let's see. Editor, creature generation editor, graph, exporter, and sure, it's been months since you're creating this game from scratch. It's way longer than that, my man. But I'm feeling good. How about you? I can imagine if a water heater would have a subscription model that would be full on heated seat BMW style. Yeah, I was thinking about that. It feels like we're moving. Everything is turning into a fucking subscription service. And it sucks. Here we go. What do we have? Add child editor node. Convert animate entity to creature editor node. Okay, so let's have this one here and convert game object to animate editor node. Okay, so this is how we're gonna do it. Game object in, animate entity out, animate entity, animate entity. Okay, so what's the difference here? Sure, I'm confused. Wanted to make an open world PSX game on my own. PSX style games are very popular these days. Very popular. But a workflow of doing the same coding every day makes me sick from within for some reason. Let the AI handle the repetitive stuff. But look through the changes a little bit more than I did. Add out. Oh, yeah. Animate entity. There we go. Why does it screw me like this every time I save? Come on, man. Oh yeah, that explains it. Maybe. Convert. Animate entity. Convert creature. Soup. Okay, there we go. Clear, come on now. Save. Okay, beautiful. Do I want to test this one? Okay, so let's see. We have all this visual generation, which is beautiful. We get a game object after. Yo, what's up, CodeCube? Hope you're having a productive day. So after this visual generation, we get a game object. We take that game object and we add an animate entity to it. And that's what we're working on from now on. And then we take that animate entity and make it into a creature. And that's about it. I'm sorry to disappoint. It's not gonna explode, but we do have an error. Why? Failed. Nothing failed. Sure, appreciate it. Check out my shorts if you haven't. They are beautiful as well. Or some of them at least. Fucking hell. I did this... I'm experimenting a little bit with like watercoloring noise for my terrain. Did a couple of hours this weekend just see if I could get something that looked okay. Which I think it did. And then I posted a short about it, but like the compression pretty much removed most of the visual distinctions, or made them hard to see at least. CodeCube, nothing much. Added 17 new bugs and fixed 15. That's good. Okay, try get output doesn't work. Where is our exporter? Convert animate entity to creature editor node. Sure, I'm not sure about that, but hopefully it's gonna be good. Most of the Nintendo games are good, aren't they? Maybe not as good as Batman and Robin from '97, but still, you know. Convert. Yo. Okay, now I get it. So the help I wanted from the AI, it did it, but it also changed some files around and shit like that. I'm still not 100% sure, or I need to get better at utilizing the AI model. But let's see here. Where do we have these if that's not the case? Oh, it actually changed the classes, that's good. But not the file names, okay. But that shouldn't result in our error, I don't think. Convert game object to animate entity. And then we have game object to creature. Convert animate entity to creature editor node. And then I want the same here. Code cube to fix compression, add a very light film grain or whatever it's called into your post-processing to vary colors and there to confuse the compression. That's actually a pretty damn good tip. It's just about finding the correct film grain, I guess. If you do it too little, the compression is just gonna go right over it. If you do it too much, it's gonna suck watching the video, I guess. There we have convert animate entity to creature runtime node. Exactly, just upload a test video as private and test settings until you get it right. Maybe I will do that. I'm like, sometime soon I'm also gonna like upload a video on with the featuring the grass shader. Problem being that it's probably gonna be extremely compressed as well. Okay, let's see if we can find the cause of this shit. Skipper, have you heard the news about UE6? I saw that they did some sort of teaser about it, right? I don't know anything more than that. Honestly, I didn't even know UE5 was out in 1.0. There's a free demo out. Yeah, if I had the time, Let's see here. We're doing a lot of setup here. I'm actually wondering. Everything looks like it's working at least. Yo. This is when we save, isn't it? Let's clear and play. Okay, I get it. Creature spawner, creature blob definition. Creature blob definition, there we go. Bam. Zrip. There we have it. Okay. And what do we have on this one now? We have soft body handler, body definition, animate entity, creature attribute, agent instance, and attribute handler. Beautiful. A lot of these comes from this though, but we're slowly but surely gonna replace these now. Okay. So We have animate entity. Okay, so between this one and this one, I want to add a whole lot of actions. CodeCube, ignore UE5, wait 2 to 3 years for my engine to be out. Just as realistic 8x performance. Hell yeah, man. Sure, I actually think UE5... There probably exists a few places where it isn't perfectly optimized, you know? But a lot of these unoptimized games you see using UE5 that are out are probably... Like, the developers of the games are probably also a bit to blame, I guess. CodeCube, I think my cat likes your streams. Oh, say thank you from me. I appreciate it. Scafer, there was something about merging UE and UEFN Fortnite modding branch, which sounds totally unhinged. I think I have this feeling, or I guess it's pretty apparent that Epic Games want the Fortnite to be something akin to Roblox, right? And it's probably easier to handle everything if it's more centralized, but yeah. Yeah, that might be true, Scafer. I have actually, like, I haven't worked that much in UE5. I just know that there exist a few very optimized games using the engine. Yeah, I don't know how Lumen and Nanite, those things work. Yeah, we're probably a bit too early. It's probably a bit too early to have Nanite and Lumen by default. It's like overkill for 99% of the games, I guess. But as I said, like, my experience with Unreal Engine is minimal at best. But okay. Agent. So what I want to add here is what actions are we actually using for our blobs? Action setup in definition actions. Okay, great. We are using focus and inspect. Aren't we using... Where are we adding move rigid body? Is my next question. Move rigid body. I'm blind. Sorry about that. We do it like this. Okay. CodeCube, I researched Lumen. It's just very fancy SSGI with a very good cache. It looks amazing though when used right. Nanite is crazy. Scafer, I'm watching First Crimson. Yeah, I've been watching him as well a few times. He said he will not use and does not use Lumen or Nanite because it adds too many problems that already exist in UE5 and game dev in general. Yeah, I get it. You can actually achieve like amazing lighting and stuff without utilizing them. But yeah, we'll see where it goes. Like, once again, I haven't used UE5, but like, I get this good feeling when I hear about it. I think, like, I believe it's a good engine, you know? Cooler SK Conan Exiles, which is a pretty old game nowadays, but they had like a revive. Yeah, they upgraded from UE4 to 5, and it looks pretty good. Yeah, I watched the new clips on Conan Exiles. It actually looks good. It's very cool that they took that quote-unquote old game and like gave it a revive, you know? Codecube 0.0002 error in perfectly matching a 3D mesh on average. Is that true? Because that is extremely low. Okay, so what I'm gonna add now is we're gonna add focus, add action focus, add action inspect, and add action move rigid body, right? So editor nodes, we're gonna add a new folder, and we're gonna call it actions. We're gonna have, fucking hell, yeah, we did some experimentation with add action node here. I don't want to do it like that though, so we're gonna remove that one eventually. Let's duplicate this one, and we're gonna call it add action focus editor node. Add action focus editor node. Undefined ports, add input port animate entity, that's good. Add output port. Okay, I guess we want to do just an internal name, I think, plus strings input. I don't care about strings input here. And here we're gonna have animate entity. Yo, yeah. Animate entity, internal name, output, display name. And then we're gonna have a hell of a lot of options. Dynamic mesh, slice editor node, undefined options. We'll see what kind of options we will have. Good morning, PG King. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Codecube, well, that's factoring only closed models. Haven't implemented backface support. Okay, should be easy to handle. Easy enough. Okay. Focus. So this one will, let's add the, let's wait with the runtime. But so like this node will add an action focus to our beautiful little blob. And I want to run to action focus. This one doesn't have too many setups yet, but like when our entities focus on stuff, we want, so for the character we want the eyes to look at the focused object. Same with the blob. Some creatures might move their, I don't know, they might rotate towards it and so on and so on. So every different type of entity is going to have different ways to focus. So we're gonna have a lot of settings here eventually. But right now this one is going to be an optionless node. But we're gonna do add focus properties. Eventually. MPG King had a great weekend. Oh, nice to hear, nice to hear. My weekend was good as well. Thanks for asking. Scafer, remember we were talking about mesh morphing with compute shaders. Yesterday I stumbled upon the guy who made something similar, but using, I'm guessing, a particle system, which looks pretty good. Now let's take a look. Hell yeah. Fuck, some people do some incredible stuff. Let's just see if we... so I don't accidentally show any gifs of people dying, which you usually find on X, right? Don't want to stream that. This feels... yeah, I'm guessing... I'm gonna have to look more on this, but it feels like he has two instantiated meshes, the different meshes, and then uses something similar to the VFX graph to just spawn particles on one of the meshes and then move those particles so they fit the other mesh. But that's just like what I see instantly. It's probably a bit more complicated than that, maybe. Or maybe not, actually. And then he based the... I think that's how he does it. Okay, I don't want to go low there. Yeah, that's my guess. So the other mesh exists here, but not rendered. And then render it. CodeCube, I like the effect, but I can't get over the fact it doesn't factor in lighting. It's probably a work in progress. We'll probably get there eventually. What is with this garbage collector? I'm just gonna restart Unity, see if we can get rid of it. So yeah, our focus and inspect, I think, are gonna both be optionless. Probably then it just lerps the position of the points for each. It's possibly very heavy for that many particles. Probably VFX graph is, if that is what it's using, is extremely or pretty optimized, I think. Add action focus editor node is being okay. So in with an animate entity and out with an animate entity. So this is action 1. Add action focus editor node, and then we're gonna have add action inspect editor node. Inspect. Could you not just lerp vertex positions though? If you have the same amount of verts, it could work. We do this, so it didn't go to the bottom. Yeah, particles is probably like, I think this is, if the way I think he's doing it is actually the way he's doing it, I think it's like the simpler way to do it. And if something like that is what you want, it's probably a good way to do it as well. Because the problem is, if you have two meshes you want to morph between, if they have the same vertex amount, the go-to is probably blend shape, but most of the time they won't have it, so you're gonna have to do some magic around, you know? Yeah, I don't think so as well. I think they have different amount of vertices, which makes it a little bit harder. Add action, inspect editor node, animate entity in, animate entity out. And then I want to add the last one, which is gonna have, oops, should have renamed it first. Add action, it's called move rigid body editor node. This one is gonna have a lot of settings, I think. Add action, move rigid body. Is it actually called that though? Move action, move rigid body. Yes. So this one is going to have one of these setups. So action, move rigid body setup. Let's see if we can add this one. Dynamic editor node, add option. Hope we can. Add option. It should be okay. Public static read only string. Build internal name. Internal name. Move rigid body setup. Move rigid body setup. And then we want to using game.actions with default value null. With tooltip, let's skip the tooltip. Hopefully this works. Remember, the first way you do anything in comp.sci is always the worst possible, most inefficient way known to man. That's not the aim most of the time, but that's unfortunately how it gets sometimes. Fuck. Oh, maybe why can't we show this one? Here I would like to have some settings. Action, move rigid body setup. Come on. Action, move rigid body setup. Public class. Serializable. It's the actual class. Is it because it's a... Nah. Oh. Could it be serialize field? Please. And he also morphs between a static model and an animate model. Yeah. Should be straightforward, I hope. There shouldn't be that much of a jump between animated mesh and non-animated if he does it the way I said. That sounds nice, CodeCube. Fuck, Graph Toolkit. Love it so far. Except for this. Why don't we get... It's just a class with some simple properties. Add action, move rigid body editor node. Editor node, undefined options, context add option, action, move rigid body setup, internal name, display name with default. Is it because we don't have... What am I missing? Don't we have... maybe we don't. Okay. Yeah, we probably only have... whatever, mass, linear damping. Do we have something similar in options? No, we don't. We just have enums and stuff like that. Okay, that might explain it. So we can't even do attribute-based value, attribute definition, base value range. Okay, so I think we are unfortunately... Okay, let's try this then. Empty. If I actually thought about making a graph editor that would allow me to write rules for procedural generation, but maybe later. I think that's a perfect use case. Okay, attribute definition works because it's a scriptable object, I guess. So attribute-based value then. Probably, maybe it's a struct. We'll see. Public, static read-only string internal name, display name. Attribute based value. Okay. That's okay-ish. So what we're gonna have to do is, let's see if we can order this. One sec though. You know what? Attribute-based value. Let's take this one. Yo. Yo, yo, yo. Yes. Okay, this is probably the way we're gonna do it. Because as I said, I want output from these nodes to be input to these nodes sometimes. Sometimes. Hell yeah. Or do I? I do. But it also feels... I'm wondering if it's gonna be hard to see. There's gonna be a lot of inputs here. A lot. Yeah, I think this is how we're gonna do it. So... I want... data, rigid body data, transform data. Let's do folder attributes. Let's duplicate this one, move it down here, and rename it attributes. Attribute based value data. Editor node. Undefine options. Undefine options. Here we're gonna have attribute definition. Oop. Undefined ports. We're gonna have add output port attribute based value. Add input port. Add input. Fuck. I think we need... attribute-based value uses range, base value range. Sure, that's nice progress, that's nice progress. Start with the character controller, get it real right and tight. It's a great feeling running around with one of your own characters in just a test environment, but with really good controls. I love it. Should probably exist quite a few good assets in the Godot store for PSX graphics. PSX graphics is... I remember reading about it for the first time like 15 years ago, something like that. It has a very special way to handle the vertices, right? Like vertex positions gets truncated every render iteration, and that's why you see these jumps on the models. Like it looks like the models are... the vertices are moving on the models when you change the camera angle and stuff like that. It's very nostalgic. There's a Godot asset store, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Isn't it? Isn't there? Pretty sure. Okay, so we want to create a range here. So we're gonna have float input. Add input port. Range. And then we do maybe we can skip this. And then we also add a I can get the vertices easy, just need to shrink the camera and make it fake full screen. The pixel will do the trick, but I'm gonna get confused out. But then you won't get the real PSX feel. I'm just putting it out there. You will get like, yeah, pixel fighting that might look sort of similar. But the vertex popping, man. Vertex popping is beautiful. Attribute based value constant, attributes based data editor node. Here we go. So attribute based value data editor node. So the idea here is that we do so if we take a look at our add or move rigid body, action move rigid body. Here we have an attribute based value rotation time. I want to see actions, and we have it as strength. So the idea is that the setup we need to set up this. Like, sure, I've seen people do like a full screen post-processing PSX effect, and it looks pretty damn good. But if you want to get the real deal, you're probably gonna have to do, you can still do it as a post-processing effect, but with replacement shaders and stuff like that, but you're gonna have to have some custom vertex shaders, I think, but I'm not sure. Code-Cube, the vertices you can snap using the vertex shader. Yes. Exactly. So in the vertex shader you want to truncate the vertices. But the thing is, I don't know that much about PSX. This is where my knowledge sorta ends. I don't know if they snap to a world space grid, if you know what I mean, or with some camera-based space, because like I'm wondering, do you see the vertex snapping in old PlayStation games when you just move around the camera looking at the static object, or is it just on animated characters when they, for instance, idle animate? Yeah, sure, Tron, you're fucked. You're gonna have to make a TikTok game now. So, the idea here is that we take some attributes, we take general properties, and we have strength here. So we define an attribute-based value here by setting the strength here, and then we have our min-max. And for... so here it's 1, 2. So we do 1, 2. So this is this here. That's one of the setups for our add action move bridge body. So I guess we're gonna have to do something like this. We do this. We do this. We give each action a lot of space, because it's going to be a lot of these underneath. So, and then we output this one here. And then we want random editor node load. For now, we're just going to do 1, 1. Two. And then we're going to have a lot of these. So then, of course, I want to change this one. I wonder where we're gonna have all these strings. I don't want to have strings here, I don't think. Coolrisk, the polygon warping in the old PS1 games is related. The floats of position for vertices getting clamped since it had limited byte values for precision, at least from what I know. Yeah, that sounds correct. So they get truncated to the closest value that can be represented by the bytes available, right? The RAM capacity was so short that they had to limit the motion of camera, but it looked pretty good. I love how something the gaming industry saw as a bug has now become a beloved style. Game realism is immediately outdated by a more realistic thing. The style is forever. 100%. It's like... But it's also thanks to today's tech, right? It's pretty easy if you're a solo developer and you chose the PS1 style. The workload on you reduces drastically, because now you don't have to model models with 10,000 polygons. Instead, you just model characters with like 100 polygons. Sure, what if the render itself is pixelated? You probably want to do that as well, I think. So on one side you want to do the vertex truncation, and then later on at the end you might want to downsample the whole scene and then upscale it, or render the game in a lower resolution and then upscale it. But like that can also look very ugly. I know that good pixelation post-processing effects use a lot of math to calculate how and where to draw pixel lines and stuff like that to make it look good on the eyes, if you know what I mean. Like the easiest pixelation post-processing effect you can do is just render the game in a lower resolution and then upscale it with a point filter, I guess. Code::Cube, me and you both. Cooler SK, there's a game I'm waiting for that is done in PSX style, complete with optional polygon warping effect. I appreciate that, because the polygon warping effect can be like hard on the eyes. Hark the goal. What is it about? Code::Cube, I suck at modeling with good topology. Me too, me too. First-person adventure. I saw this, someone generated a video with a generative AI that looked so much like a nostalgic adventure game, first person, you know? And just that generated video has... like, I've seen a lot of games after that is trying to emulate the feeling that that video created, you know? It's a great style. King's Field. Yo. Holy shit, that looks so good. I'm a little bit scared though with the PSX, because I remember a few years ago, quite a while ago actually, it was extremely popular to do low poly style games, you know? And these days I can't really... It became so oversaturated with low poly style games that I don't like that style at all anymore. I'm afraid I might feel the same with PSX, you know? Anyone remember when PS3 came out, peak of gaming industry? It was pretty good, even though I didn't have a PS3. I went with the 360. Fucking hell, King's Field looks amazing. Okay, so I need strings for all of these things. I don't know if I wanna... We have these, I guess that's okay. Cooler SK, everyone goes for realism nowadays. Yeah, at least the AAA studios. Oh, yeah, that's true. Rotation range. You know what? I think we're gonna put these here. No, not here. Action move rigid body. Let's just duplicate this one or copy it, and then we do add action move rigid body editor node. Private static read only ring rotation time range. And then I actually want a static read-only string rotation time range tooltip. The time interval takes to do a max rotation. And then we go private static read only rotation max degrees. In one iteration. Cooler SK, but I remember the indie low poly being white up here. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. I think it's waning nowadays 100%. Exactly. It was extremely lightweight, and that's what I liked about it. So you have models with few polygons. You don't have any textures taking up space. You can do it with vertex colors if you want. Pretty damn amazing. And then with some nice post-processing and stuff like that, you could actually get a real nice look. Maybe even go with gradients. But yeah, so it's more like I'm not tired of all of the low poly style, but it has to be done extremely good for me to actually appreciate it these days. While like only 10 years ago, 10 years ago, I would love pretty much every low poly game I saw. Codecubit, well, it's been 22 years since Half-Life 2 and still no Half-Life 3. Yeah, that's depressing. Yeah, only 10 years ago. I heard how it sounded when I said it. And it was depressing. Is that what it has come to? Refer to 10 years as only. Like, I'm really trying to appreciate time, you know? But yeah, we old indeed, we old. Okay, private static read only. Come on, there we go. Rotation multiplier, rotation jump multiplier range. The multiplier applied to the rotation jump. Not really. The multiplier applied to the free rotation jump. Works for now. Private static rotation angle error tolerance range display name, and then we do the angle error tolerance range for the agent to even rotate. Yeah, I guess that's good. And let's do it like this. Private movement time range. Yes. And a tooltip, please. The time interval it takes to do a max movement. Yeah, that's good. Max distance the agent can move in one iteration. Beautiful. And let's see if it can get this one right. The distance error tolerance range for the agent to even move. Yes, please. Oops. The time range before the movement where the agent is preparing to move. Oops. The time range after the movement where the agent is finishing the move. Yes. I don't know. Do we want to have periods here? Maybe we do. Yo, what's up, Jube? Dev, when you're 20 years old, 10 is half of your whole lifetime, but when you're 40, it's just... yeah, it's like... And I hate that it's like that. Nothing to do. Between the Steam frame and Steam machine, I think I'm more pumped for the Steam machine right now because yeah, I'm more of a display kind of gamer, you know. VR is nice, but I think it has a way to go before I'm gonna jump on that train. Okay, so we're gonna replace these inputs with add input port. Let's see. Attribute based value. Half-Life Alyx is pretty much the only VR game I've seen where I like actually thought about buying a VR just to play it. So we're gonna have add input port, attribute based value, and here I want to do rotation time range. Rotation time range internal name. Can't we have tooltips here? Okay, we're gonna wait with those until, and then we do yes, 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 yes. There we go. Alyx focuses way too much on being baby's first VR game. But I saw like just clips of people moving the wine bottles around in a rundown city. And then we had this like math teacher or something like that that actually had a lecture in Half-Life Alyx. Fucking amazing. By writing on a whiteboard and shit. Fucking rules.
Don't cry.
Bam. Oh. Oh no, did I? Unfortunately, yes I did. Context, add input port, animate entity, yes. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of these here. It's gonna go down so much, but yeah. Why do we still have this one here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Recompile. I've also been wanting to try, I think, very immersive games like Skyrim with some mods or Kingdom Come Deliverance. Both of those I would really like to try in VR as well. But I don't know. Skafer, I tried VR once, PS5 VR, played Pavlov VR. Don't know about that game. It was very cool and I didn't get sick. Congratulations. I have never gotten sick either from VR, but I think I've only played like 30 minutes top or something like that. Okay, so we have this one done. So then we have rotation max degrees. We're gonna have 2020, 9090, and it's strength based as well. And then we have jump multiplier 3, 5. It's also strength based. And then we have this one, it's also strength based, and it actually just have 5. And then we have this one, 0.5, 0.5, 1.5. And it's also strength based. Movement max distance 0.5, 2, strength based. What do we have? 1, 1, 1, 1. Strength based. Distance error tolerance range. And then we have movement pre-time and movement post-time. Pre-time is energy based. Nice. First one with something other than strength. And it's 1, 0.2. Yeah, this one was the other way around. Oops. 1, 1, 0.2, 0.2. So if we have a lot of energy, pre-time is short. Let's see here, where do we have general status, energy. And then movement post time. I don't think we have done that much with it, so yeah, it's strength and it's 0.1, 0.1. Probably gonna be energy based as well. Eventually. Okay, so we're gonna have a lot of this kind of setup, but yeah, maybe. Although you know what? Let's do it like this time around. Or... nah, we're gonna randomize it eventually, so let's keep these here. Wondering about this one though. I don't know. No, I think I'm gonna do it like this. 1, 2, 20, 90, 3, 5, 5, 5, 0.5, 1.5, 0.5, 2, 1, 1, 1, 0.2, and 0.1, 0.1. Because these values are actually defined here. And then depending on what kind of strength or the linked attribute that the creature actually has, that's gonna be how good of a creature it actually is. So every blob will have a, let's see here, rotation time range between 1 and 2. But then depending on how much strength and energy they have, it's gonna vary, you know? Hell yeah. So we can make it a little bit cleaner, and we can still input values here eventually. So it's gonna only look like this. I think that's okay. Okay, let's see if we can make some runtime versions of these. I want to get rid of... I think I want to get rid of all of these. Okay, so we want... Oh. Okay, and then we have add attribute handler. Attribute. No. Add action handler. Fuck. Action handler. And let's take this one on. And then we have add action move rigid body editor node, not editor node, add action move rigid body runtime node. And the input we want here is action move rigid body setup. Input count 1, output count 1. Yo. Yeah, we don't want this setup, never mind. And then we want to have, how many inputs do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Input count 10, output count 1. Is compatible with connection, input index 0, animate entity. If input, yeah, let's do it like that. Attribute based value. Also can output animate entity. And then we do, I don't care about game object. Yeah, Apple do some amazing stuff. 100% agree. Ooh, we're gonna fetch a lot. So I guess it's gonna be attribute based value. Why can't we do this? It's a struct. I want to keep it as a struct. So, move rigid body action set up. Set up dot rotation, or what was it? Rotation time range. This is how we're gonna do it. Yo, what's up, Star Platinum? Hope you're doing fine in school. You having anything cool done? A lot of cool stuff. Watch my shorts, man. It's 55 minutes left. That's a lot of time. So what do we want here? Rotation time. Let's just take this one. Rotation time range done. Rotation max degrees range done. Finish this for me. There we go. Yo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do we only have 8? No, we have 9. Post time, pre-time, distance error tolerance, max distance range, movement time, rotation angle, rotation jump, multiply range. There we go. Then we have to fix these to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and what I want to do then is we're going to return this, but then we want to do animate entity action handler. Don't we have dot add action? And then we should be able to do setup dot create action animate entity. I think that's it, actually. For this one. And then we do, and let's copy this one. And jump to add action focus runtime node. Yo. And this one only takes one input and outputs one thing right now. Don't want setup here. So then we remove these lines. And we remove... Yeah, we don't have this one. Maybe we should create this one now. Action, focus. Public. Class. Focus setup. Which honestly is just gonna be empty for now, I think. Add action inspect, done. Add action focus, done. Add action move rigid body runtime node, done. And then we have the hardest one, I think. Attribute based value data runtime node. Not the hardest one, but definitely the most different of these. What the fuck? What's it? Generation runtime node? Okay. Input count 1, output count 1. Range. No. Yeah, but I think we want to create it here. Attribute based value. Attribute based value. is compatible with connection. We don't care about. Okay, input count 0. Yo, what's up, Antonino? Yeah, you can watch it after you want the company. Hope you had an amazing weekend, man. We were talking to Ice. Someone else? Or me? Can output attribute based value. Yeah, I did comp sci in university, but everything game dev related, self-taught. But I mean, it was relatively pain-free given my background. Modeling, however, learning how to model stuff, that was a pain. Jesus. Okay, we don't want any input here, so instead we're... Do we need input here? Generate output? Nah, I think we're just gonna do this. That's a pretty bad node, but maybe it will be extended eventually. Attribute-based value, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so when we create this one, we create the attribute-based value and then we just return it when asked for. Input count 0, output count 1. Now we just need to go through the editor node and create the correct runtime nodes. That's a win, CodeCube. So I guess the course worked in your favor. Antonino, not exactly a nice weekend. Forced me. Fuck, man. But I mean, that doesn't sound too bad. Wasn't it kind of fun and exercise, right? That's always what I think, at least, when I help someone that owns a house. But yeah, I might be building this, but I'm also getting exercise. CodeCube, why do you think I love low poly so much? Because it's the easier one to model. That was actually my take on poly as well. It's optimized and it's easier to do than realistic models, at least. Okay, let's see here. Attribute-based value. Attribute-based value. Editor node. So, here we want to get some input. And let's see, random editor node, because we're going to use something similar to this. We want to get a node option. Get node option, we get cashless, but we want something else as well. And then I want to get 2 floats, min and max. Beautiful. So let's take this one and put it here. And let's see here, cashless. No, I want attribute definition, and I want to change this one to this. And here I'm wondering if we're gonna do range. Yes, continue please. Yes. Min, max. And then we do cashless but new New attribute base value, attribute definition, and range. Beautiful. Skipper, should I add jump to my game? I'm still not sure. I like when you can jump, but then if it's not used, no verticality, then it's a bit pointless. It is. Fuck, if it's never gonna be used, I would go with not adding it. Jump is a little bit of a pain to add, as opposed to other stuff. Yeah, if it's never gonna be used, why give them the option? Antonino, at least I spent some time with my dad. Indeed. And got some exercise. Scafer, just because jumping is fun. That is true, but fuck, focus on other stuff that is fun, that actually has meaning in the game, I would say. It's fun to destroy stuff or pick stuff up and throw them around and stuff like that. But look at me, like I'm focused on stuff that actually matters, while I have like 20 different apparel to my character. Yeah. Okay, I think that's it for this one. Add action, focus editor node, new add action, focus runtime node. Add action inspect runtime node, and then finally add action move rigid body node. There we go. Holy shit, I think that's it. Let's see if we have any compiler errors, and then we can see if it works. Yeah, I want to hear the secret to enjoying life. Okay, so we get a game object, we add an animate entity, and then we work with the animate entity. We add focus, we add inspect, and we add action move rigid body editor node. And then we convert it to a creature. Let's save. And I also need to creature, because in creature here we do creature definition, temporary solution, agent instance, attribute handler, attribute function, attribute handler, and then we have action set up here. Let's remove this one and see how it goes. Yeah, that's a pretty hard guide, Code Cube. And it's also very important that you should be happy alone as well, right? Okay. One error instantly. Action move rigid body. Let's see. Okay, what failed? Instantiate attribute dependencies. When do we call this beautiful method? Oh. We do have a blob though, let's see. It has an animate entity, an animate action handler, focus, and inspect. Our move rigid body is nowhere to be seen. Hmm. I'm wondering if it's this bad boy. I think it is. We don't have any attribute handler just yet. Let's create it. Psycho goth baddie. Damn, son. I'm sorry. Hopefully it was not all bad. Yeah, if that ain't luck, ice, I don't know what is. Okay, so let's add an attribute handler as well. Actions, attributes. Let's see here. Convert animate entity, convert game object. And let's duplicate this one. Put it here. And let's call it add attribute handler. Oops, not only that. Add attribute handler editor node. She's in prison now and half my furniture is gone. God damn. Don't we have internal name? Yeah, we do. Let's just keep it like this. Input animate entity, output animate entity, and we add an attribute handler. Great. But I also want some options here, I think. When we add an attribute handler, yeah, we want attribute generators and attribute functions. Hell yeah. Yeah, we want to add interactability the same way we did as well, eventually. What do you gain from burning furniture? It would make more sense to steal it. I guess you get warmth. For some time at least. But it's probably more the psycho angle, I guess. Attribute handler. I'm wondering, yeah. Yeah, we want to have attribute generators. So we're gonna have nodes for that as well. And then we want attribute functions. It's probably a smart idea to, or there's a must rather, to add the attribute handler before the actions. Right about here. I'm wondering though, it's almost like, yeah, we're partly gonna implement add attribute handler now, because later on I want to update my Unity version so I get the latest graph toolkit stuff, because there they have actual support for collections, which I very much need. So I'm thinking of, okay, add attribute is gonna be simple. We're gonna wait with attribute functions until tomorrow because I want to make this work. I don't care about the energy not draining for now. So I want to have some options here. Splice, editor option. Then again, options. We can't use range. But we can use attribute-based value. Yeah, let's do it. But not with options, however. We can do this for now. Int attribute count, internal name, attribute count display, 0 the number of attributes to add. Attributes, we don't need that one here. Animate entity, and then we're gonna do an output port attribute function. No. Attribute based value. Oops. Attribute based value dot internal name, display name. Okay, something like this. Add attribute handler editor node. Whoop. And whoop. And then we can make yeah. Attribute count 2. Ah, fuck. We want it to be input. Attribute based value 1, 2, and then we can do attribute based value. No, not constant. And what do we have? Strength 0.5, 0.5 for now. That's our attribute 1. And then we have energy 0 and 1. 100. One sec. Okay. Yeah, how does it feel, CodeCube? I appreciate you either way. 1, 2, or X, whatever. Appreciate you all. I think this is it for add attribute handler. Now we just need to make it into a runtime node as well. $0.3938 is greater than 0. I'm not entirely sure. Creature definition. Attribute generator is what it is. Ah, fuck me. Ah, but that's okay. That's okay. That is okay. That is 100% okay. So we're gonna do this. Private attribute generator. Attribute generators. I don't care about that one now. Input count 0. Output count 1. Because the way I'm gonna do this is add attribute handler. Here we're gonna fetch all of these and we're gonna create a list. So attribute count, then we do, yeah, that's exactly what I want to do, but let's put it here. Attribute generators, new attribute generator, and then we do for attribute based value, try get input. Can't we just do this? Try get input attribute based value. Don't we have something? I thought so. Maybe we can't. I guess we have to, we'll see. Let's see. If try get let's do it like this. Let's jump to the documentation. Not on generation editor node, but node. Wow, that's bright. Get input port. Get input port gives us an I port. And here we do try get value. Edit node. So we want to do try get input port I plus 1 dot try get value. Get input port. There we go. New attribute generator definition. Okay, we're gonna create a constructor here for this one. But other than that, I think it's fine. Attribute base level. Fuck. Base valued range. There we go. And then we set it so when we create new this one, we give it a set of attribute generators. And that's it, I think. Add attribute handler runtime node. Okay, we need to fix this one as well. Animate entity, get animate entity. Yeah, we need one input here. So we try and get the animate entity. If we get it, we don't want to add an action, but instead we have attributes. No, we don't. Dot. You know what? I think we want to do. Public attribute handler, yeah. I don't think we're gonna make it public eventually. Get attribute, add attribute, try add, new attribute. Okay, so add attribute handler. Here we're gonna do attribute handler, new attribute handler. We can't do it like that. What do we have here? Start attribute use. Okay, beautiful. We're gonna move that to another method eventually as well. Yeah, this one is mono behavior. So animate entity dot add game object component attribute handler, add attribute, and then in the end, I wonder if we want to do if add all of these, and finally animate this. Yes, okay. I think that's what we want to do. Let's jump to creature and remove attribute handler, attribute function. Okay. So you can see here that we slowly but surely remove the need for creature. It's gonna be animate entity and agent. Maybe. Agent will replace animate entity or the other way around. We will see. We will see. Okay, any compiler errors? Feels like Linux has always been a thing to research, right? Okay. Feels like we have add action. Did we return null somewhere? Runtime connection, add action, focus runtime node. Yo. Connection. Add action focus runtime node. Add attribute handler. Add attribute runtime node. I'm gonna pass, I think. Why does add action focus runtime node fail? Fuck, I don't want to leave on this error. I have 4 minutes left to find the root of this one and fix it. Add focus runtime node. Input count 1, output count 1. Animate in T. Oh, add attribute. Where do we have it? Add attribute handler runtime node. Input count 1, output count 1. Animate entity. Yeah, the fault lies with this one, 100%. Add attribute handler editor node. Define options, undefined ports, attribute count. We just add them. Internal name, cache, attribute count. Yo. What? What? Cute. Nah. I don't know if this one. Okay, that's one thing that bothers me at least. Animate entity, animate entity. Yes, yes. 0, 0. Ooh. Yo. Add attribute handler. This one has input count. No, it has one input count. Fuck it. We're gonna have to solve this one tomorrow. If I don't do it later today. Because unfortunately I need to run. But a very productive stream, I would say. So yeah, I just want to say thank you so much everybody for watching. Appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow. Have a great rest of the day. Peace.